Bygone styles and vintage khakis flooded Greene Street last Thursday in a sea of faded garnet and black. Last week, students at the University of South Carolina attended a vintage clothing market hosted by Fashion Board in collaboration with DRABA. Over 40 vendors from across the Southeast traveled to campus to sell their clothing and share its story. Vendor Wyatt Gagnon-Waldrop traveled from Charlotte, North Carolina to set up his tent and find his old clothing a new home.
Business is all about upcycled clothing ranging back from the 70s to early 2000s, just giving secondhand clothing new life, stuff like that, and bringing it to other people.
Not only is vintage clothing shopping cheaper, it's also a more eco-friendly option compared to fast fashion. Fast fashion refers to the mass production of cheap and trendy clothes, which are often made at the expense of human labor rights and environmental laws. The average American throws away about 81 pounds of clothing a year, and 85% of that amount ends up in landfills. The rise in popularity for vintage clothing could mean that young people are becoming more environmentally conscious. Davis Parker, who helped organize the event, thinks that the movement towards sustainability has led to this rise in thrifting.
I think thrifting's popular because people are getting more conscious about where they source their clothes and giving secondhand, slow fashion and promoting that and being intentional about where we get our clothes from.
USC student Sophia Dudley with Super Thrifty is also excited for thrifted vintage fashion, and she says that each piece of clothing has a story waiting to be told.
I think it's almost like the blast from the past, but it also has a story behind it. It's special, Someone's worn this before, and who was it? What does that tell you about that person? Are you the same? Are you different?
Vintage markets like this one bring the past a little closer to the present and make sustainable shopping more accessible for all. For SGTV News 4, I'm Caroline Smith.